this is Erma Grego from Senior Perspective. Today we're down here in Venetia at the Wright Methodist Church, and they're celebrating their 175th anniversary. And I would like to introduce you to the pastor of the church, Reverend James J.D. Hilliard.
Hi. This is quite a celebration for us, 175 years from the beginning days that was across the creek, actually. It started as a Wright chapel, given the land and built by the Wright family, Enoch Wright. He wanted a chapel in the wilderness for people in the community. It was actually non-denominational at the time. Anybody could come and worship, even though he was, in fact, a Baptist, but a very faithful man, very dedicated. So he built a church, and it was actually a chapel, very small, one room, potbelly stove, across the creek over on the hillside where the current cemetery is. And there is still the remaining fieldstone foundation that has been uncovered and restored. In those days, there were a few people that passed by from time to time. His own son had gone off into Kentucky or Tennessee and attended a camp meeting where he was converted and challenged by God to accept Christ as his Savior. And he went on to do some studies and became a Methodist minister himself. He came back to town one day and was talking with his father and ended up deciding to take over the pulpit. And as he took over the pulpit, he eventually turned it into a Methodist Episcopal church in those days. And long since then, it's now a United Methodist Church. We're here to celebrate those 175 years because God has created everything around us. And the body of Christ, which is the church, is something to be honored. That heritage has gone on from generation to generation. And God still is creating, and that's the fun part of being in ministry, that even though we can look back over the years and the decades and the generations of the people who have gone before us and celebrate what they have done, the faith that they kept over all those years, we also know that the faith is being kept now. So after hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of work and dedication and time by a number of people here at the congregation, but as well as in the community, in restoring the cemetery over at the other site and helping out here at the church, and many contractors who have, in addition to having a contract to get some work done, have since felt that there's more need to be added here, and so they've donated some of their time and materials to the project as well. So we're here to celebrate the creating God that we live for and honor and have faith in, because he's still creating. So even though we're looking at history and we're studying the heritage from the Wright family on forward, I even have my own grandfather, my fifth great-grandfather, settled this country in the middle of 1700s, and he ended up starting a couple of churches, Presbyterian churches at that time, and also helped start a couple of educational institutions. So I've had history and heritage in my family for many, many years. So that's what it's all about. It's about people, it's about fun, it's about children, it's about youth, it's about elderly people looking back and nostalgically remembering their heritage, their people, their families, what has gone on in the past, remembering the hard times. Depression wasn't easy for anybody, and remembering the good times and where they've come to this day. And that's what it's really all about.
Lots of good times.
Lots of good times
to remember, all as you said.
Absolutely.
And so, but when did they build this building then?
Well, the chapel was built across the creek in 1820.
Across the creek.
Yes, it's around down around on Sugar Run and take a left on Mingo Church Road.
Is there a road to go to it?
Oh yes, Mingo Church. It's right on the first corner of Mingo Church Road. And it's on the side. You'll just the new sign up there and everything. You'll not miss it at all. And that was for 99 years. And then they took parts of that particular chapel, unassembled it, and brought it over here to start this church. So there are a few pieces that have been carried over across the creek. And when this started in 1922, they finished it and dedicated it May 13th, 1923. So this is 76 years old in front of us now. And a lot of faithful people who have come in through these doors over the years.
Yes, Well, this is something to be very proud of, to have a building this long, and to have people coming here all this time. and changing their lives, really.
Yes, changing their lives, and many people who drive by have come to the church just because it's a quaint, small country church. That's what they want, and they walk in. And what's more exciting for me as a minister is to see the light in their eyes, because once they get inside, they find people who are very warm, very accepting, and they get this sense of a church family. So this church has gone on for 175 years. It's not because of the ministers. We've had many ministers in this parish for all those years, but it's the people who are the faithful ones and stewards of God's time and God's talent and God's treasures that have
supported it.
Oh yes,
too.
over the years. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very, very much.
You're quite welcome.
It was wonderful talking
Great.
to you.
Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah,
and God bless
you. Too.
God bless you all.
Now go back and get to work.
Right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye now. Okay, we're still wandering around here on the premises of Wright's Methodist Church, and I've found a guest here that you might be interested in hearing what she has to say. Your name is?
My name's Kay Barish.
Kay Barish. And what is your thing?
Well, I'm showing ABC quilts here today, and that's one of the community service projects that Wright's United Methodist Women do for the church.
ABC, what does it stand for?
Well, it's
just something that you pulled out of the air.
It's a nice acronym, but it represents quilts that are given to children who are born at risk. And it's a nationwide program, but the quilts that are made in this area stay in this area, and they go to hospitals in downtown Pittsburgh, to kids who are born premature or with AIDS or with other problems.
Oh, that's an interesting project. Now, your bulletin board there, is that some of the quilts that you have done or something? Or
those are
all those that you have on display there?
Yes, Joan Temple is the local coordinator. She's out of St. Clair, and she's the one who provided all this information today. And there's examples here of the isolettes. What they do is they take the baby quilts and drape them over the isolettes to make it a cheerier place, the intensive care units at the hospitals. And these children get to take the quilts home with them. So what she does is she drops the quilts off to the hospital, and she never knows which children get them. But they know that they've come from ABC Quilts, and they keep them with them. And a lot of the kids with long-term health problems end up bringing them back to the hospital when they come in for treatment, because they get very attached to the quilts. But the women here at Wright's usually make up a batch of quilts about twice a year. We make up quilts to give to the kids.
And they're made right here. Is it an organization that does this then?
Well, the Wright's United Methodist Church, the women here, yes, the women's group does them.
Wonderful. And where do you get your ideas for the patterns and stuff like that? Is it just something that everybody thinks about, or what?
There are some patterns out there that Joan Temple provides for people if they're looking for patterns, but some of us are quilters and like to come up with patterns ourselves, so we do that.
How large are a quilt? You don't make them that big. Is that what?
This quilt that's behind here was done by a school of kids with special needs. That's also on display here. But these quilts behind Pam are examples of the baby quilts that are done in the sizes that we look for.
Oh, they're very nice.
And we get everything from something more complex like that to just one single piece of fabric on the front and one on the back with them tied together. So we get the whole spectrum.
Well, that's very interesting. It's a very worthwhile project, and and I'm sure that it is very welcomed all over.
Yes, it sure is. And like I said, it's a nationwide project, and we certainly have a lot of kids here that need it. So we try to provide as many quilts as we can.
Unfortunately, we do have the ones that need it, and it's nice that there are people like you out there that can make their life a little easier.
Well, I think every kid should have a quilt, so I like making.
Definitely. My daughter had hers, and it got to be just a little wee piece of material.
That's right.
And I was going to throw it out, and she said, "Oh, Mom, you can't throw my quilt away."
They get attached. They get attached to them.
Well, thank you very much. It was very interesting talking to you.
Well, thank you.
And I wish you lots of luck.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's only a little motor oil.
What difference is one drop of paint going to make?
This much fertilizer isn't going to pollute anything.
You're looking at a sea of excuses, created drop by people like you and me. Our waters can be saved if each of us does their part. Drop by drop. If we all do a little, we can do a lot. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Council, the EPA, and the Ad Councils of the U.S. and Japan.
To have a dream, but never the chance to achieve it. that is perhaps the greatest tragedy in life. The United Negro College Fund exists to bring the dreams of thousands of young people within reach. Hands that yearn to touch lives. We train to heal, to teach, to bless. We encourage souls that hear music to write symphonies and sing anthems. And to those once bound by poverty, we present a wealth of possibilities. When you support the United Negro College Fund, you give more than money. You give dreams that may have died the power to live.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Hi, we're back again now at one of the other booths, and this is the Venetia Heritage Society booth, which have been very active in trying to renovate the Venetia School. But here's somebody that can tell you more about it. This is Sandy Ambach.
Thank you, Irma. Kind of in a reverse role being interviewed here. Basically, we have a booth here today at the Wright United Methodist anniversary to help tell the public about what we're trying to do, which is preserve the Venetia School. We would like to, we're buying the building from the Peters Township School District, and we're hoping to close on that by the end of the month. And then we'd like to put our efforts into renovating the building for a senior citizen center and an arts and cultural center. At the center, there will be senior citizens getting together to meet, socialize, have lunches. The McMurray Art League would be a main tenant also. They would be having exhibits, working on having art classes and exhibits at the school. Also, we will have a theater group called the Steel City Theater, which will be having equity actor performances right on site, actually in the same room where everyone used to have their assemblies during the school. So we thought that was really neat. And there's lots of other nonprofit groups and that would like to have space in the building. So we're working on raising money to renovate the building, and we're really excited that the school district decided to sell us the building for such a minimal amount.
And our vice president is Luke Hernan.
Yes.
He mostly is raising money.
Yeah, and actually I'd just like to thank everybody that's come by our booth today. It's been overwhelming. People giving us donations, pledging money, and buying our note cards, with Mrs. Umbach is holding. And Lita Miller from the McMurray Art League was kind enough to do this rendition for us, and we really want to thank her also. We keep selling out these note cards every time we order more, so if you'd like to buy note cards, just get in contact with either Sandy or myself. Or print. We have 8x10s and 11/17 prints, and if you'd like them, just give us a call and we'll try to get one to you.
Can you tell me what this picture is here on your table? What is that representing?
Actually, a lady by the name of Mrs. Voorhees dropped this off today. Her father was a minister here at the church, and she attended Venetia School, and this is the old auditorium, and this was their percussion band that the students had. And actually, we're going to be revitalizing that very same auditorium.
It's one of the exciting things.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to be interested in our group, we can...
we can always use more help.
Yeah, we can use more help. More support. We meet at the Wright United Methodist Church, and you can find out more information about the group by calling either Lou or myself, and I guess we're listed in the phone books.
Okay, well, thank you both very much, and I know you are very, very busy,
Thank
and
you, Irma.
so
Thank
you
you.
can run off and do your little
Very good.
do's
Thank you,
and that.
Irma.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Irma. Thanks for coming by.
Hi, we're back again, and I found one of the former ministers of Wright's Methodist Church here, and I would like to introduce you to John Weaver, and he has a few words he'd like to tell you.
Well, I can remember being here as a pastor several years ago, and I served here for 8 years, and I remember I didn't want to come here. But they sort of forced me to come, and at the church at that time they could, and I served 8 years here, and it was a wonderful 8 years. And we had our son here, and we grew up here, and we did some improvements. We added on the new addition to the back, and we painted the sanctuary and put new lights in, and quite a few things that would happen around here.
What years were you here?
I was here from 1975 to 1983.
Oh, okay. And this tree was a little smaller then.
This tree was a little bit smaller, but I raked the leaves many years, and our son and I played in it many years. And it was just a very good experience being here. And so we're glad to be back and see some old friends and make some new friends.
Right.
So.
You know, things go on too.
Yes, they do. But the church looks good.
It does. It really does, and they've done a lot of nice things to it and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I've lived here, in this area all my life, and that. So over on the other end of the township, and that. So, but you always remembered Wright's Methodist Church.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I had a lot of weddings here. People came by and saw how beautiful the church was, and I had a lot of weddings. In fact, Fridays and Saturdays were filled up, and I even started doing on Thursdays. So it was a good place for people to come and to be married in. So, but it's we had 8 good, prosperous years here. The thing I remember about Wright Church most was its mission program. They were strong missionary people. They supported missions very well, and we had guest speakers come in once a month and tell us about missions. And so that was something I remember quite well. So it was a good church to serve. I had 8 good years, and church grew, and it was nice.
Yeah, and I'll bet this brings back a lot of memories.
Oh, yes, it does. And this field used to be mowed. I mowed it the whole way down the railroad track, and we had fruit trees planted in there and a grape arbor, but they're all gone now, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun here, shooting groundhogs down and running around through here. We had a big garden here. This was our garden area right here, and we really enjoyed being out here. It was country, and we love it. And our retirement home now is built out in the country, and we like it there too. So.
Is that where you're at now then?
Yeah, we live in Summerhill.
Where's that?
Oh, it's up Route 22 by Evansburg.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's nice, up by Altoona.
Oh.
Northeast of Johnstown.
Yeah.
So it's nice, but these were good years. Good years.
Good. Well, welcome back, and
thank you.
enjoy yourself today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gee, Vince, what kind of dummy wouldn't know how to use a child safety seat?
Beats me, lads. Child's play.
You just buckle him in.
Unless he's over 20 pounds.
Then this one's good.
Except if he's over 40 pounds.
Then you're into this kind of rig.
What if he outgrows that?
Put him in a booster seat?
What if he's too big for a booster seat?
Would he use the safety belt?
The Auto Safety Hotline can tell you everything you need to know about keeping your child safe in a car.
I'm a wreck.
Totaled.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Call 1-800-424-9393.
Who is that swimming?
Doing good, Al.
I'm swimming.
Try to get your legs up.
Like this?
Yeah, legs flat.
That's the way. Where's your kicking, Al?
That's right.
That's it.
I'm almost there.
Okay.
I'm almost there, Mommy. I'm almost there.
Whoa, you made it all the way.
If you don't stop your friend from driving drunk, who will?
Good job.
Do whatever it takes.
Are you having a good time?
Yeah.
Well, here's another booth here at the anniversary, and I'd like to introduce.
My name is Pam Mowry.
And you live here in Venetia?
Yes.
Okay, and what are you doing?
I'm spinning wool right now. I'm a member of the Washington County Spinners and Weavers Guild, and of course we promote a lot of the old-time fiber arts crafts. And although I haven't been an active member for several years, I still enjoy spinning. I don't get to do it very often now that my children are more active in school.
This really looks very interesting. I mean,
It's a lot of fun. It's very relaxing.
You get it from this fuzzy stuff and into thread.
That's right. You take the fleece from the sheep. You have to clean it and card it. These are the wool cards that you use to comb the wool, line up the fibers so that it makes it more.
By fibers, what do you mean the fibers?
This is the wool, the actual wool from the sheep.
Okay.
You line up the fibers by carding
Is it
them.
washed or something first or something?
You have
like
to
that?
wash it. Usually, by springtime, the fleeces are really dirty, and when they're sheared, they pretty much have to be cleaned. If you're lucky enough to find a clean fleece, you can spin it in what we call in the grease, where the lanolin is still in the sheep. And I understand, I've never done that, but I understand it's very, very soft on your hands because of the lanolin. But you do have to have a pretty clean fleece to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, Well, this is really interesting. It goes into that little wheel and down to the big wheel? Is that how it goes?
Well, what you do is you push the treadle with your foot in a clockwise, make the wheel go clockwise. It turns the band, and what you're actually doing is you're taking the fibers and you are spinning them, you're twisting them. And as they twist, they become stronger, and then it feeds through here and onto the spindle or the bobbin.
Could you show me how it follows through? Where does it goes in and then down to the wheel?
It just goes onto this, it winds through the opening here. We line it up on the hook so that you can vary the width of the thread along the bobbin. In other words, if I would move it down here, it's going to start to wind here now.
Oh, okay.
And that's all you're doing is you're just building up your yarn onto your bobbin so that when you're finished, you'll have a full bobbin. This is a single ply yarn. And later on, to make a stronger yarn to knit, you would use 2 bobbins and go through the same process, but your wheel would go counterclockwise. And you'll have a 2-ply yarn, which is much better for knitting. It's stronger.
Like
This is a skein. This is finished.
Very interesting. Now, was that a black sheep there or something?
Well, sheep come in all colors. Some are, this is a more gray and white fleece. I have some here that are kind of this is a medium brown. We have one down there that's a lighter brown. It's very dark, it's almost a black. And of course, we don't have purple or orange sheep. That's white wool that's been dyed commercially.
Well, that's very interesting.
Thank you.
It's very time consuming, I imagine, to do this.
It takes a long time to get from fleece to sweater. But it's fun to do. I enjoy it.
Well, thank you very much. It was very interesting talking to you.
Thank you.
Hi, we're back again, and we found several people here that you might be interested in listening to. 2 of them are from the Wright Methodist Church, George and Helen Matus. And over here, I found a classmate of mine that went to Venetia School. So maybe we'll start with her first, and I'll introduce Betty O'Brien, and she can tell us about when she went to school over here in Venetia.
I went to school here in the 7th and 8th grade, and every Thursday we would come to the Wright Methodist Church and get a dinner for a quarter. And really, that was a big time for us in those days, and I enjoyed that.
That was a pretty good price.
Yeah, that was a good price. But the ladies of the church cooked it, and they had a big time doing that, so we enjoyed it.
Well, thank you very much, Ben. Hey, it was great seeing you, and I'll see you at the reunion.
Okay, thank you.
Now we'll go back to a couple of the parishioners here, George and Helen. So perhaps you could tell us something about when you came to this church, and just tell me some different things.
Well, Erma, I was born in Florida, and when I came home I was born in February. When I come home in about May of that year, they had my cradle roll certificate made up from this church, so I still had it framed, and I brought it today for everyone to see. And I was confirmed in this church. Then when I met my husband, I joined the Lutheran church, but all my grants, my ancestors were from this church, started it early. Rose Bess Grant and Ann Robinson, and my mother was in the women's circle here, Blanche Casper Baird, and I was here most every Sunday in the summertime because I stayed at my grandmother's right handy down the road here, and my aunt played the piano for the church, so she made sure I was there to sing.
So when did they get you in here, George?
Well, we just decided to change, and I thought it would be a nice gesture for Helen to come back to her home church. And we weren't going to church in Cannonsburg, and we thought, well, we're going to join our little country church, and we're all family here. And it's a wonderful minister, and we all get along, and everybody helps each other.
Yeah, that's very true about anything. I don't care what you do in the country, everybody gets together, and we all stick together and do it together until it's finished. Okay, do you have anything else, Helen?
Well, I was just thrilled to come back home to this church, to have a nice church to come back to. And our minister couldn't be lovelier, he and his wife both.
Yes, I met him, and he seems like a very, very nice
You need him. When I was in the hospital, he was there. And he's always called and kept in close contact with me.
That means a lot to have that connection in that. Yeah, so, well, I want to thank you both very, very much. And you are some other guests of mine that I've had on my program, the barber shop.
Right.
And that's, I want you to have a real good time today and enjoy this and have a lot of pleasant memories.
Thank you much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Piper the Owl. Be pipeline smart, be pipeline safe.
You might fly over all our 200,000 miles of pipeline and never find a leak. But if you did, a sharp eye would spot a spill, a cloud, or vegetation that didn't look right. You might smell something unusual or hear a strange sound. If any of these things happen, avoid making sparks, leave quickly on foot, and call the police, other authorities, and pipeline companies. Remember this word to the wise.
Be pipeline smart, be pipeline safe.
Well, I guess it's almost time for us to leave on these wonderful proceedings and that. Everybody has been so nice and all, and I'm sure that they all wish for you to stop by at the Wright Methodist Church on Venetia Road. If you ever by this way, I'm sure you would be greatly welcome, and everybody was so nice, and I wish to thank everybody, and it was great doing the show with them. So thank you all very much, and we'll see you again. Thank you.